the question stem here is asking us to weaken this argument. So we have to figure out what the premises are, what the conclusion is, and why maybe the premises, or definitely the premises, is weak in supporting conclusion, and just expose that weakness. So let's read the stimulus. A consumer magazine surveyed people who had sought a psychologist's help with a personal problem. All right, so magazine surveyed people who sought psychologist help, and of those responding, so first of all, it's a self-selecting group, right? We don't know what they could lie, they could not lie, yet people who had extreme experiences, either extremely satisfactory, extremely dissatisfactory, are probably way more likely to respond. So anyway, so of those who respond, who had received treatment for 6 months, I guess they indicate how long you had treatment. Yeah, you say 6 months. 20% claimed that it made things a lot better. But of those who had received longer treatment, a higher percentage claimed that it made things a lot better. Okay, so now let's think about that. Before you read this conclusion, these are the premises, or really it's premises, and this is sort of a hypothesis explanation kind of setup. We have, or rather, I should say, a phenomenon explanation, not hypothesis. Phenomenon slash conclusion slash hypothesis slash explanation. Right? We observe something to be true, and then we try to explain it. Now, you try to explain it. Why do you think this is the case? What could possibly explain this? 6 months or less, 20% said, 1 in 5 said it made things better. But those who received longer than 6 months, a higher percentage said things were better. Well, I mean, I think the obvious answer is really just that if after 6 months you're not seeing improvement, you don't go to your psychologist anymore. You go somewhere else, or like, I don't know, try meds or something. Right? So the people who stayed, it's a self-selecting bunch. Of course a higher percentage would say that it's better. That's why you stay longer than 6 months. Right? That would be my explanation, my hypothesis, my conclusion to draw from these premises, this phenomenon, this premise slash phenomenon. But of course, that's not what they say. They say, therefore, psychological treatment lasting more than 6 months is more effective. See, I don't know. More effective is better, right? Oh, had those people stayed, it would have been better. That's not necessarily true. It works for some people, it doesn't work for some other people, and as time goes on, the people for whom it doesn't work just gets weeded out. So as time goes on, of course this percentage is going to improve. That doesn't mean that the longer psychotherapy I mean, those people, if they didn't leave, if they stayed, they would have just continued to think that it sucked for 12 months, for 18 months. Right? You see, so that's an alternate explanation of this phenomenon. Now, to weaken this, that's exactly what we need to do. We need to introduce these alternate explanations. So let's see which one of the answer choice does that. A says, of the respondents who received treatment for longer than 6 months, 10% said it made things worse. Okay. So you see, you're thinking, oh, but that's bad, right? Like, if you choose A is not the right answer, but if you choose A, I think the idea is that, oh, but 36% better, but look, 10% said made things worse. That's fine. That's totally fine, but you can't, that's no comparative. That doesn't weaken this argument. We don't know of the 6 months, maybe 6 months, like 80% said it made things worse. Right? So you don't really know. You have to presume too many things for A to be right. B says, patients who receive treatment longer than 6 months, more likely to respond to the survey than those who receive shorter. So this is also sort of just trying to waste your time. It gets you to think, all right, let's say we had a total of 100 respondents, and say 20 of them were the 6 months or fewer, and then 80 of them were the 6 months or more. But it's still a percentage. It's still 36% of this 80 and this 20% of this 20 group. And what does that do? Right? See, like, what does that do? I don't know what it does. Whatever it does, if you choose it and you think it weakens it, you're just making it up. Right? What it does to this argument. It does nothing. C says patients who feel they are doing well in treatment tend to remain in treatment, while those who are doing poorly tend to quit. There you go. Right? That tells you that this increase in percentage is not necessarily indicative of the fact that longer treatment is more effective. In fact, C says it suggests very strongly that this increase in percentage of people who thinks it make it better, it's just an effect of weeding out the patients for which psychotherapy never would have worked anyway. D says patients who are dissatisfied with their treatment were more likely to feel a need to express their feelings and thus return survey. So all D does is tells us there's a general depression in the numbers. So if you take this 20% for 6 months, 36% for longer than 6 months, you try to graft it onto the general population, then these numbers should be higher. Right? For the general population, it's more than 20%. Why? Because, well, for the survey group, it's the people who are dissatisfied that were disproportionately more likely to respond. E says many psychologists encourage their patients to receive treatment for longer than 6 months. Okay, I'm sure they do. Right? They're psychologists. I guess they want their clients to stick around. But what is that? Like, what does that have to do with this?